Earth and Star Spiritual Wellness Center. You know me. I'm Mary, your friendly neighborhood preacher teacher, and I had another dream. Imagine that, a dream that led to a Sunday service for you guys. That's just how we roll around here, right? Spirit talks about dreams and prophecies and all these wonderful things, and then I get to just spout them off for you. So this one's called the 44th Victim. I know, it's a tough name. It's a tough name. And I don't remember the dream. I was laying there, I was sleeping, I woke up, and I heard it clear as day, the 44th victim. And that was all I heard. So I know that I had a dream that went along with this. I don't remember the dream. I woke up in a hot flash, my blood boiling, and those were the only words that I heard. And that can be just as important as the dream itself, because quite often when we're interpreting dreams, it's not really about what happened in the dream. It's about the feelings you have after the fact. It's about the things that your mind starts brewing on after the fact. It's what it has spurred that is what the dream is really about. In fact, this happened just last night. I was laying there and I woke up, and as I woke up in that little in-between space between sleep and awake, there was an entity of some sort just right here in front of me, just right in my face, and it said birth. And so I knew today I would be giving birth to some little baby of some sort, and of course, as soon as I got up, I started my period. So who knows? There's something crazy out there happening. But one thing is for sure, all of you female intuitives, your cycles have some sort of connection with your intuitive abilities, whether or not you still cycle. There's something there. And I'm just going to make just one small little connection today for you, okay? I'm going to make a connection. Because with this particular dream, going back to my original, the 44th victim, I woke up in a hot flash. So everything means something to me. And I started digging into this and doing some research. 44, the 44th victim, what could that possibly mean? And then I started downloading all of these things about that number 44. Now, I know where you numerologists are going to go. You're going to go with, well, look up the number 8. Yes, except I wasn't given the number 8. Spirit could have easily given me the number 8. Spirit could easily have said the 8th victim, but it didn't. It said the 44th victim. And if you want to know who the 44th victim is, it's probably you. It's us. We're the 44th victims. Let me explain. First off, in my search and quest for the 44s, I ended up going back to, of course, kind of the old stuff we know through traditional organized religion. So what does the 44 mean with them? And the first thing I came to is Psalm 44. And I'm not going to read it to you. It's a long-ish verse, but basically that's talking about the times. I've heard this same statement in these times where people are like, well, you know, a long time ago, miracles used to happen. A long time ago, people talked a lot about miracles and how there were healing miracles, and there were these big, you know, parting of seas and turning of water to wine. There was a lot of miracles, and God doesn't work that way anymore. Spirit doesn't work like that. And there's this growing separation that happens. But in Psalm 44, it's the same thing. That person is saying, I have been faithful. I do everything that I do in the name of my God, and yet I'm rejected. I'm humbled. You know, we used to be able to go in and have everything work out for us, and now it's like we're disgraced. We are a haunt for jackals, is what they said. I am a haunt for jackals. They feel that they've been forgotten by God, that God is asleep. And that while all of this death is in front of them, the one source that they feel has enough power to overcome it, they feel is asleep. Now, I don't know about you, but that feels a lot about what's happening nowadays. Nowadays, there's a lot going on where we need a really big source. We need source energy to come in and help us sort this crap out, to fix everything. We need miracles. Is God asleep? We're talking about defeat, abandonment, silence in suffering. How can God be silent in our suffering? And this leads me to the power of numerology. Okay, stick with me here. Now, if you've followed my channel for a while, you understand that we have some different type of definitions. If you're new here, I'm going to tell you, God, Spirit, Source, these are all synonymous words when I teach. Meaning that God is the source energy. It's the all of everything that exists. It is everything that we came from and that created us. Therefore, when that energy broke apart and we all became who we are, our soul is a piece of that God spark. Not just a little piece of one part of the God spark, but all of the God spark in one little piece. And so source energy, while we're not in it anymore and we're separate as long as we're on Earth in our 3D form rather than our 9D form, we still have that full God spark inside of us, meaning that we are capable of miracles if we know how to break through, if we know how to work those miracles, if we know what we're capable of and we remember that. Now look, I carry a whole bag of mustard seeds. I have a whole bag. I don't even have faith as small as one of these mustard seeds. I carry a whole bag just in case I run out of the faith of one mustard seed. So I have backups, okay? I have a lot of mustard seeds. And guess what? Things work out for me. Things really work out for me. I say it all the time. Things are so easy for me. And you guys are like, oh, okay, that's so good for you. Guess what? I've been through some shit, man. I've been through a lot of shit, a lot of hard shite in my life. And you get to a point where you hit a wall and you say, am I going to continue suffering in this way? Am I going to continue being a victim of my own mind and my own nightmares? Or can I empower myself through this? And this is when I started healing work and I started learning how to do this stuff for others. And I started tapping into, what am I good at? Not just for me, but what am I good at to be of service to the universe? I know what I'm good at for me, and this is how I serve. This is how I give of who I am, because I am the God spark. How can my God spark work for others? How can it bring healing and miracles and enlightenment and inspiration to others? Because not everyone is going to perform healing miracles, but some of us inspire. Some of us console. Some of us comfort. Some of us nurture. And there are a million different ways to use your God spark to be of service to others. And when we start doing that, when we can heal through our own blockages, releasing and expanding, opening our own belief systems, and start being of service to the community in very small ways, not even large ways, but very small ways. When we start doing this, then we find ourselves in a space of expansion where everything is suddenly easy. If there's something that I really want, I can get it. it somehow finds me and comes to me, and things don't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult to travel, to plan things, to move from here to there, to acquire the things that you want and need. If something like that is difficult, it's either because your guides are saying you're headed in the wrong direction. Let's not waste our energy there. Let's just be here for a second and brew a little bit more. Let's grow a little bit more. Or it's because you have some sort of differing belief system inside of you that you need to heal through, that's blocking you from the thing that you want. You're blocking yourself from the thing you're trying to get, right? And that's how manifestation works, and why manifestation is so difficult in the beginning. It's because unhealed people try to manifest what they want rather than understanding that you manifest what you are and bringing those things to you. Because you're always constantly attracting the vibration that you currently are. And so if you have a mindset that you're unworthy, that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve certain things, that you're actually afraid of the things that you want. Yes, this is what I want, but if I got it, that would be so much responsibility, or I'd really have to overcome my fears, or I'd really have to put myself out there, then your energy is constantly blocking the things that you want. So then you're in a battle with yourself, and guess what? You become the 44th victim. 44, defeat, abandonment, God's silence in your suffering. That's Psalm 44. Now, the number 44 in numerology, so we're getting out of biblical and now we're in numerology here. This is a power number. And this number in numerology itself represents hard work and stability. If you think of the number 4 just in and of itself, like a chair, like a table, anything with 4 legs is stable. It can't be rocked. It can't be insecure. There's a stability there, meaning that we've worked through our triggers. We're not acting in a reactive way. We're not behaving reactively. We are stable, and stable doesn't always mean calm, but it does mean in control. I am in control of my actions and my reactions. I am in control of my emotions. And I know that when things happen that upset me, I don't have to be insecure about those things because I'm a 44. I'm a strong-ass table. I don't have to be insecure about the things that are happening. I can simply recognize something's happening that I don't like, and then I can go about trying to figure out how to change that. 44, hard work is what this number signifies. It's about achieving goals. It's about discipline, resilience, success through encouragement. Now, take note of those words, okay? Because it said hard work. It didn't say everything comes easily to me. It didn't say achieving goals simply by thinking of them and affirming them and manifesting them. It said achieving goals with discipline. And once we learn how to do the hard work, the rest comes easily. The energy part, the emotion part, the outlet, the success, the end goal comes easily when we've learned how to do the hard work. I have learned how to do the hard work, my darling. You guys keep making me fall in and out of accents. Stop it, all of you. So, we have feeling defeated or ignored in times of suffering when we are seeing the God spark on the outside of us, when we are the victim, when we are powerless, when we are just a victim of what is happening in the world. But numerology says, well, let's bring this inside. Are we working hard? Are we setting goals? Are we trying to discipline ourselves into reaching those goals? And so the two sides that we have here remind me very much of karma and dharma. karma and dharma. If you guys were at Susan Lynn's event, which I understand probably only a portion of you were because the event was only big enough for 150 or so, we did an entire talk on this. We did 2 days worth of work on this. Okay, we unlocked some master codes inside of your DNA that helped you understand who you are, how to shine that light, how to anchor it in a stable way, and really make effective change in the world. I'm not going to replicate that talk right now, but in reference to this particular subject matter, to this particular dream that I actually had months before that event, karma versus dharma, just for the sake of this, we're going to basically say that this is free will versus divine guidance. Free will versus divine guidance. Okay, let's just look at this from your point of view. If your point of view is God has abandoned us in the earth because the earth is boiling around us and the guides and gods don't care. I'm being attacked, I'm suffering, I'm hurting, not to lessen your hurt because it's real, but I'm hurting and nothing outside of me is saving me. God doesn't care. The angels, my guides, nobody cares, nobody's helping. Looking back, rewinding to the beginning of time, to the beginning of your birth, we have free will while on this planet. If divine guidance stepped in every single time we made a choice, every single time we had a misstep, every single time we had a choice to make, your life would not be your own. You would have had no free will, you would have no sense of identity, and you would have no sense of inspiration or experiences because there would be no contrast. It would be a robotic living of life. And that's not what you're here to experience in the 3D. In the 3D, you're here to experience all of your possible choices. You're here to experience all manners on the spectrum of emotion, of what life is. Life is good and it's bad. It's good and it's evil. It has its light and it has its dark, and we're here to experience all of that, to understand all of that, what it takes for people to be in certain spaces, and also what it takes for people to overcome those spaces and to truly appreciate being in a different space, the contrast. That's what our free will is. Our free will helps guide us into who and how we want to be based on what we've seen and what we've personally experienced. And we want to be good people because we've experienced darkness and we understand the difference between being a good person and being a negative person. We understand the difference between being someone who cares and being someone who hurts. We understand those differences, and that's where our free will choice says, this is who and how I want to be and why I want to be that. And then we get to strive towards that. And once we do, once we put in that discipline, once we've created a goal and we are actively working towards that, we are creating stability in the healing work around that. That's when our divine guidance steps in and says, okay, how can I further inspire you? How can I further bring you peace in the middle of this storm? Because that's what the universe promises us. The universe promises us that we will always have divine guidance when we seek it to further inspire us towards our goals and to offer us peace in hard times, not to override our free will or tell us exactly what we should do. And so when we're thinking of all of these things put together, from this point of view of free will and divine guidance, it's bigger than just what's in our line of sight. This is us understanding how we know we want to be for ourselves, how we're creating our goals and our identities and creating discipline and healing work, stability, security around that. So we're actively moving towards something that we've chosen. And then divine guidance comes in, and it's like a wave that we're riding out. The divine guidance says, okay, now we're going to start making some change. Now we're going to open the way up. Now things get to be easy. Now things come to you easily. And think of this on a collective level, since it is bigger. Everything that happens to you personally is also happening on a collective level. And this is where divine guidance comes in with that wave and says, you know what? People are going to see. Things are going to purge. People are going to know the truth. The truth of everything is what's happening right now. Nothing that's been hidden in the past is going to stay hidden right now. Everything is coming to the surface. That's where we're at. We're at the unlocking of this particular seal. This seal, that throat chakra seal, okay? The fifth seal is unlocking right now collectively. And that's the truth. Everything has to come to light. That sounds scary. I'll be honest. It sounds scary. But on a collective level, the things that are poisonous, the things that are toxic, the things that we as individuals have seen and decided, I want something better than that. I want something better than that for me, for my neighbors, for the people I love, for the world. We can't reach world peace if we can't even look at the things that are creating toxicity inside of our societies. All of those things have to be culled out, purged out for us to look at. And then collectively, we can form a group that says this needs to change right now. And we work, we have dedication, we have hard work, we have goals. We encourage each other until we have reached success. We do our personal healing work to remove our triggers so that we're not reactive, but we are active in a stable way. We are bringing in this achievement for ourselves and the collective. So, what do hot flashes have to do with anything? As we're backing up, hot flashes, what do they have to do with anything? You know what? I did not know. I had no idea. But for Murners, hot flashes are caused from lowering estrogen levels, from the estrogen levels in your body dropping. So let's look at what estrogen does in your body and how that is also a metaphysical trait. So that when you have hot flashes, you can understand what your body is trying to tell you in that moment. Because everything physical is linked to something emotional, which is linked to a thought. So the thought, mind, body, collective here, and your energy flows between all of those things. So estrogen promotes fertility. Well, what is that on a metaphysical plane? That is your creation and manifestation energy. And we've talked a little bit about some manifestation energy today, right? It also has a function, estrogen also has a function in your body fat and bone production. On a metaphysical level, this is your sense of safety, support, and stability. So we're already back to the fours. Safety, support, stability. This is what your energy is trying to bring you into, a sense of safety, support, and stability. We have to have this to do anything else. We have to have that concrete structure at the bottom to move forward. Estrogen also has to do with your heart health. And that's happiness, bro. So we are looking at harmony, connections, love. We think that we connect everybody with like our sacral space because that's our emotion space, our sexual space, our passion space, But where we're actually making connections, especially with our clairs, is in our heart space. This is the part of us that expands beyond just the physicality. It's the part of us that can expand into the spiritual and expand down into the physical and kind of bring them both together. So here is where those numerologists in the beginning get their number 8. Okay, 4 plus 4 is 8, in case you're wondering where we got that from. So if we're looking into the numerology of the number 8, and I wish I had a piece of paper. Hold on. I'm going to write this down for you. You're like, Mary, I know what a number 8 looks like. But do you? That's the number 8. Now what is it? It's an infinity symbol. Duh. The number 8 is, there's lots of different definitions. You know, it talks about that shape, that infinity shape, which is basically endless cycles of energy, because energy can't be created or destroyed. But it's also about the flow between the material and the spiritual realm. It is basically your symbol of karma, balance, and equilibrium. But I want to throw this word at you concerning the number 8, which you might not have heard before in conjunction with the number 8 numerology. Cosmic justice. Where is God when the world is falling apart? We've talked a lot about that. Cosmic justice. This is, the number 8 is the great karmic equalizer. Now, a lot of people think about that whole what goes around comes around thing. I don't think in that particular way. I do think that what you vibrate is what you attract. But I also think that a lot of people are confused about that. Like I said, you're trying to vibrate out positive things, but if you've not healed through your negative things, then you're still continuing to draw negative things. And a lot of negative people actually think very positive things, and they're vibrating out positive things, and they're continuing to attract positive things. So I don't think of it quite in those terms, but it is the great karmic equalizer. Why? Why is it a karmic equalizer? Why is it a link to cosmic justice? The intense energy of the number 8 teaches you balance. Okay? You want to be here on the number 8. But it's always moving, kind of like a wave, right? So when we're on one side of this number 8, of this infinity symbol, we might tend to be too focused on material wealth or responsibility, resilience, learning lessons about responsibility, resilience, the physical things. But then we always have to kind of come over to this side because it keeps moving. And once we're on this side, we might be learning about spiritual things or higher things, the things that are not of this earth. And that doesn't mean better things. It's just the other half of these things. We might be learning more about peace and truth. There's a lot of different lessons to be learned on either side of this. If we need to be on this side learning lessons, we might be thinking of learning ambition, learning how to be disciplined, learning how to have that drive, financial success. But then we have to come over to this side where we're learning about equilibrium, and we're learning about the lighter things and how to give and how to trust and how to connect and how everything is one. There's a huge balance here with that number 8. And all of that is in your freaking hot flashes, in your heart space, where you're learning about harmony, connection, and love. Harmony, connection, and love, that's on that higher side, right? And so we have to learn how to connect. We have to learn how to connect to ourselves, how to connect to others, the people that we love, our neighbors. Connection is actually a really big part of your dharmic path, fostering your connections. We have to work on our relationships. We have to understand ourselves and how to be ourselves and contribute to society at the same time. There's a huge part of connection that works with this. Your estrogen levels also help regulate communication with your hypothalamus, which is your temperature control inside of your body. So this is what actually gives you the hot flash. This is the thing that actually makes you feel like your blood is boiling. And on a metaphysical side, that temperature, this is your ability to communicate effectively, to regulate your emotions. This is your self-trust and your ability to access your needs. Okay? This also ties into the fostering your connections piece. Because if we can communicate with other people effectively, if we can communicate our needs, if we can access our needs, if we can properly even know our needs, because again, that's a big thing. That's a theme that we're talking about, is a lot of the time we don't even know what we want. We don't know what we need. We might tell the universe, I affirm that I want this particular thing, and the universe doesn't bring us because deep down inside, that's not actually what we want. We just have no idea what it is that we do want. And so we have to be able to effectively understand ourselves, communicate our needs, communicate effectively to regulate our emotions. So this is our ability to trust ourselves. This is our ability to be stable and secure inside of ourselves, to not be triggered, to have that safe space inside of us. And so all of these things that we're learning about with not being the 44th victim, and with our free will and how divine guidance comes in and helps us along the way when we're doing that discipline and that hard work, and we have our goals and we know what we want, we know who we want to be, and we're actively moving towards that. Once we have those things in line, it's almost like our body follows suit of that and says, okay, here's all of these hormones because I need you to pay attention to the thing that you're trying to do here. I'm telling you. And I'm pretty sure that this is why we have so many ego deaths when we're young, because there's no hot flashes when you're 12. Like when you're 12, you have no idea who you are. When you're 18, you still have no idea who you are. You think you know who you are, but you're trying to mold who you are, usually by emulating the people around you. Even in your 20s, like it's just about experience, right? You don't really start getting a firm grasp of who you are until later in life. And if we're not paying attention to the things inside of us that need to heal, those hot flashes are going to come on. Or if we're not really listening to the guidance that's trying to come through, those hot flashes are coming in. And they're going to come in regardless, right? It's not like we ever just completely stop getting the hot flashes. They're coming in regardless because they are naturally culling healing out of your body. I went even further with this number 44, okay? And the thing that came to me is that, bear with me, because I questioned this and I had to really sit with my guidance on it. In life, we have 44 main lessons or traumas. Okay? Now, traumas can be really big things like abuse, or these can be very small things, because trauma to a baby could be being scared or rolling off the bed. You know, these traumas could be very small, they could be very large. But we have 44 root timeline sequences. Yes, Mary's going off on a timeline tangent again. Oh my gosh. You know, I really like math. I like algebra. I do well with numbers. I like physics. But geometry and geography, no. I get completely lost. I don't know why those things, specifically the geos, not good at them. We have 44 root sequences in our timelines. So we have 44 major traumas in our lives that give us their free will perspective to choose where we're going in life. And from those 44 roots, they branch off and branch off and branch off. And we have a trajectory of where we're going on our timeline according to our free will choices from the very beginning. We're not going to get super into the timelines right now, but just keep that in mind, that if you're trying to change your timeline, if you're trying to get that stability, if you're trying to find your way back to healing miracles and just feeling that voice of God inside of you and feeling your God spark be awake, have we gone back through any of our old major traumas? Because I guarantee there's 44 root ones somewhere that we might need to remove belief systems from, that we might need to allow ourselves now in this time to choose differently. And your hot flashes will guide you to that. Your hot flashes are where you are naturally culling those things out and healing them without necessarily having to sit with a healer. Your body knows how to heal itself if you allow it to change when it's time for it to do so. That's like the universe slapping us with all of the crap that's happening right now and us looking at it and being like, I don't want to see that. Nope. And then the world never changes. And we're stuck with, I really want to say F words. We're stuck with what we're stuck with, right? So what we have to do when we're opening that seal of the throat inside of ourselves is when the dreams happen, when the hot flashes happen, when we're naturally culling things out and we have memories of things from childhood or early adulthood or even things that happened last week, that we're not ignoring them, that we're looking at the truth that's within them and deciding how we can change, how maybe this is something we don't want, how we can release that, how we can make it better, how we could work towards something different and take those active steps towards that. So we do have to do that healing. Our hot flashes at all ages, it triggers inner child healing, the process of our thoughts, of our dreams, and it can heal any trauma inside of you that's sticking in there. Because sometimes these traumas aren't things that come up during healing sessions even. They might not even be things you actively remember. But know that when it's happening, that boiling feeling is it unsticking from the inside of your energy body and wanting to release and to come out. And we do this one by one in each life while we are undergoing more or less 44. And if we have not healed the original 44, they carry over into the next life. So next time your blood starts boiling like that and you're allowing the healing to happen and thinking about what you would like to change or how you can actively work towards something better, or just be present with the releasing, like giving birth to a trauma falling out of your body, sit with it. Maybe go outside and scream and run around barefoot in the grass. Maybe you take a calm, relaxing bath. Whatever you want to do that feels releasing rather than like you're bringing more in and trying to hold it in or refusing to see. We definitely want to do some releasing with this. And since I like numbers so much, here's my last little thing that I just find interesting, okay? So I said that I had downloaded 44 root traumas. So we have 44 root timeline sequences, and these traumas help us move through and become who we want to be and move towards the trajectory we want to go to. The root of the number 44 is 6.63. Also, if you have followed my channel, you understand the significance of the 369 to me. 6 represents our higher self. 9 is the source or our God self. And 3 is our three-dimensional self, our physical bodies. The root of 44 is 6.63. We're looking at our higher self twice and our physical self once. So this is a culling in that direction. So where we are on this is a moving from that physical over to the metaphysical, over to the spiritual. That's the wave that we're on, my darling. The wave is moving and we're just riding it. Stick around for Nevada Smith for our Eisteddfod. And our Eisteddfod is a special place where we get to just play a little bit of music and just receive. So let yourself receive from Nevada today. And today she's doing a song that's called Allow the Sun to Rest. And this one's infused with channeled light language. So just receive this, allow it to open and unlock the things that need to be opened and unlocked for you, and let the truth come through, let things begin to purge so that you can get to your source spark within and not be the 44th victim, but instead be the one who knows who they want to be and be that God spark within.
Shining has come.